Okay, in this section here we're going to be factoring trinomials, and tri means 3, so there'll be 3 terms in our expression. And of course we always start out with an easy example first. X squared minus 9x plus 14. So what we're going to do here is we'll always start out like that, as long as this is an x squared. Now, we're looking for two numbers that when we multiply them together, we get a positive 14, and when we add these two numbers together, we get negative 9. So I'll help you out here on the first one. I'm going to put a 7 here and a 2 here. Now 7 times 2 is 14, positive 14, but we need to get a negative 9 here. And if I were to add 7, 8, 9, but it needs to be negative, in other words, that needs to be a minus, and that needs to be a minus, because negative 7 plus negative 2 is negative 9. Negative 7 times negative 2 is a positive 14. So that's factoring a trinomial. Now let's look at another example. Okay, what about x squared minus 9x plus 8? So two numbers that we multiply together gives us positive 8, but when we add them we get negative 9. So I'm going to write a negative 8 here and a negative 1, or minus 1. Okay? So negative 8 times negative 1 is positive 8. Negative 8, adding that to the negative 1 here gives us minus 9. Alright? Now you can always check your work by multiplying these two together. X times x is x squared, x times negative 1, negative 8 times x, and negative 8 times negative 1. Right? Should give us this up here. Alright, what about we have x squared plus 4x plus 3. So we want to factor this, and of course I'm always going to start with this right here. Two numbers that multiply together gives us 3, and when we add them we get 4. One thing you can look at here when things get more complicated, you can look at the factors of 3, and the factors of 3 is just 1 and 3. So the only thing we can possibly do here is like put a 1 here and a 3 here. 1 times 3 is 3. We need to get a positive 4. So this is easy. It's just a plus and a plus, because 1 plus 3 is 4. Alright, let's see if you can get this one. We have x squared plus 2x plus 1. So the only thing that goes into this 1 right here is 1. So we don't have much of a choice on this problem. And that is a 1 and a 1, because 1 times 1 is 1, and when we add them, 1 plus 1 is 2. So this has been factored. Now this also can be rewritten like that. Okay? Alright, we have 2x squared plus or minus, 2x squared minus x minus 1. Alright, so this one here is a little bit different. Now you got to play around with this stuff. Two numbers that multiply together that they give us 2. Well, the only numbers are is going to be 1 times 2. Okay, 1 times 2. So I'm going to put a 2 here, and I'll leave that blank, and we'll put an x here. So 2x times x is 2x squared. Now we got to end up, the only way we can get a 1 here is two numbers multiplied together to give us a 1. Okay, is 1 times 1. We got to get this sign right. This is 2x times 1 is 2x, and then 1 times x is x. So we're going to be looking at here probably a plus and a minus. Now let me just multiply this out and show you. 2x times x is 2x squared. 2x times minus 1 is going to be a negative 2x. And 1 times x is just plus x. And then 1 times negative 1 is a minus 1 here. And then we simplify this down, we get 2x squared minus 2x minus 2x plus x is a minus x, and then minus 1, and that's what we started with up here. So it's getting to the point now where we kind of play around with it in order to get what we're looking for. Okay. Okay, we have whoops. I about gave the answer away. 4x squared, forgot what I was doing, 4x squared plus 4x plus 1. Alright, so what are numbers that multiply together that gives us 4? We can use 1 and 4, or we could use 2 and 2. 2 times 2 is 4 also. Alright, but two numbers multiplied together that gives us 1, we only have one choice on that, and that's 1 times 1. So I'm going to try this first. We have two possibilities here, but I'm going to try this one first. $2x and a 2x, okay? And of course this here is going to have to be a plus 1 and a plus 1. Alright, so let's check it. 2x times 2x is 4x squared. 2x times 1 is 2x. 1 times 2x is 2x, and 1 times 1 is 1, and so as you can see 2x and 2x would be 4x. That's what we've got here. And so that's what we ended up with. Alright, let's try writing out another one here. See what we can do with it. We have 9x squared plus 3x minus 20. So two numbers that multiply together gives us 9. We can use 1 times 9 or 3 times 3. And I'm just going to give you a hint here. Let's try 3 times 3. Okay. So 3x and a 3x. Now numbers multiplied together gives us 20. You know, there's 20 times 1. There's what is there? 2 times 10. 4 times 5. So geez, we got 3 possibilities here. Can take up our time, but I think we're going to use that. Alright, so I've decided to use 3 times 3, and I think we're going to use we're going to use 4 and 5. We'll use that one. And so 4 times 5 has got to be 20, or a negative 20. So one of these is going to have to be minus. Alright, so let's check this. 3x times 3x is 9x squared. 3x times 5 is 15x. Negative 4 times 3x is going to be negative 12x. And negative 4 times 5 is negative 20. And so 15 minus 12 is going to end up being just 3x. So as you can see, it will be 9x squared plus 3x minus 20 after we simplify this down. Alright. We have 2x plus 1 times 3x minus 7. And once again, I'm giving you the answer. So let's first start with the problem. Getting ahead of myself. 6x squared minus 11x minus 7. And we want to factor this. Now, the numbers are multiplied together. Let's see, are 1 and 6, 2 and 3. And then for 7, it's just going to be a 1 times 7. So I'm going to give you a hint here. We're going to use the 2 and 3. And we're going to end up using the plus 1 and the minus 7. Okay, so we multiply this out and we should get back our original here. 2x times 3x is 6x squared. 2x times the negative 7 here is going to be negative 14x plus 3x, and then 1 times negative 7 is just negative 7, and so negative 14 plus 3 is going to be the negative 11x. Alright, let's look at a little bit more difficult one. Man, that gets in my nerves. Alright, 20x cubed minus 42x squared minus 20x. So let's factor this. Now, we have an x in each one of these terms, so we're going to pull an x out. We also have a 2 goes into 20, 2 goes into 42, and 2 goes into this 20. So I'm going to factor out a 2 and an x. Okay, so we're going to pull out a 2x, and so we're going to be left with 10x squared minus 21x minus 10. Now we're going to go ahead and factor this out right here. So I'm going to go ahead and rewrite 2x times. So the numbers that multiply together gives us 10 is either 2 and 5, or I should say 1 and 10. 1 and 10, 2 times 5 gives us 10. And then this number here is going to end up being 2 and 5, or also 1 and 10. Alright. Okay, so we want to factor the 10x squared minus 21x minus 10. And let's look at, we either have a 1 or a 10. let's see. Actually, I'm going to try this. A 5x and a 2x. And let's try a plus 4, or a plus 2, I mean, and a minus 5. So when we multiply this all out, we should end up with what we started up here with. I don't know, let's just do that real quick. 5x times 2x is 10x squared. 5x times the minus 5 here is going to be minus 25. X plus 4x, and then minus 10. Okay, the negative 25 and the positive 4x here, that's going to give us the minus 21x. And of course we have the 10x over here and that over there. Okay, so let's simplify this down. We have 10x squared minus 21x minus 10. And remember, we still have this all in parentheses here, and we have the 2x outside. So now what we're going to want to do, so we can see this up here in the top. So 2x times 10x squared, that's going to give us 20x cubed. 2x times the negative 21x, that will be 42x squared, and the 2x times the minus 10 is negative 20x. So yes, this up here would be the complete factor of our original trinomial.